All right, we are live. What's going on, everybody? Sorry for the delay there in getting started, but we're just running a little behind today. Anik is going to be joining us in just a few minutes right now. They're dealing with, obviously, it's their the launch of his new book today. So it's a big book launch. They had some technical issues, and so I know what that's like when you're doing a big launch. You're always going to have little things that are going to happen. So he's just he was fixing one little thing and just texted me and said, "Hey man, can you give me 10 minutes or so?" So I'm going to chat for a few minutes. Anik's going to hop in here. Then we're going to have a fun conversation with him. And what's cool about this, and I'm just going to make sure we're totally live. It looks like everything is good on the page. Make sure you guys can hear me. You can see me. Make sure we're all good there. Let me know if you guys can hear and see me. Is that crystal clear right now? Sound and video. Are we all good there? Let me know. Let me know there. Let me go back to the live video. Okay, so it looks like we're good. I'm just checking this out right now. It's frustrating to have these issues. I'm using this tool Live Leap, and lately it's been having a ton of bugs, like syndicating my live videos around different places. So now I just need to I need to manually do the thing I'm paying for, which is super frustrating. But it's all good. It's all good. So I'm going to share this in the Unicorn IQ group. I just want to get a lot of people on here because this is a great interview. You do not want to miss this. Anik is a total rock star. He's become a mentor of mine, a friend of mine, and getting to have what's up, Brian? How's it going, brother? Getting to have somebody of that caliber that has been doing this for 15 years, that's seen the trends, they've seen the ups and the downs, they've seen things become really popular and then tank, and they've seen, more importantly, what has stood the test of time. And so we're so stuck in, as marketers and kind of e-com entrepreneurs and what we do, into like the tool, the medium, the nitty gritty. And the problem with that is those things change over time, right? So 5 years from now, I can guarantee you that we will be using something other than Facebook to reach the masses and from an ad standpoint. It might be some type of augmented reality platform, it's some VR platform. I don't know what it's going to be, but there's going to be something different. And so if you get so dug into becoming the Facebook ad expert, which I'm trying to get away from just being that because it's too niche, and instead focusing on, hey, I help people acquire more customers. That's really what I do, right? Is I work with brands and businesses that are looking to scale their customer acquisition and also looking to maximize the profit per customer. That's what I do. Facebook happens to be a channel that is really popular right now, and it's a really effective channel for doing that. But at the end of the day, it's just a channel, right? And so you can do the same thing with native and with display and with SMS and with search and with Messenger and all these different channels. You do the same thing with direct mail, with billboards, with TV, with radio. There's, radio ads, or, kind of voice ads with Spotify is huge now. So what I'm getting at here is by taking a step back and thinking big picture, it really helps you stand the test of time. It helps know that when I'm investing in myself and investing in my businesses, it's not going to be something that 2 years from now, 1 year from now, I'm going to have to just start cold and restart everything. And so Anik has really done that. I mean, he's been around for 15 years, and you don't stay around for 15 years and continue to make money and be successful without understanding the high level and learning how to build systems and how to master the channels and the platforms. But you do that by finding the right people. You do that by, Anik just said he's joining in 4. So we got 4 minutes where you got to listen to me ramble. But anyway, so what's really cool, and today what he's going to talk about is his new book. So Anik has spent years putting this book together, and it is just an incredible read. Unfortunately, it's a preview copy, so it's not invisible ink. It's meant to. This is going to be the size of the actual book that you guys get. I just got kind of the first few chapters, but what I can tell you, we'll go into the book and all that stuff today, is it's refreshing to read a book, and it's refreshing to learn from somebody that's not trying to just teach you like a little tactic, right? When I do lots of stuff, videos, trainings, a lot of people want me to dive into the details, the nuances, the tactics, post-purchase retargeting, things like that. And I love sharing that. It's valuable. It provides a lot of tangible value. and direct response value. What's up, Bryant? But the problem is, like, again, it's very specific. The cool thing about this book, eSCAPE, is that it's all about mindset. It's a higher level of how do I get from being an employee to a successful entrepreneur. Really, that's what it's all about, right? So if you're just starting out, if you're a new entrepreneur, if you're an intrapreneur, meaning you're kind of entrepreneurial, but you work for a big company. If you're just graduating college and you want to start becoming an entrepreneur and start your own business. If you're, an entrepreneur who's kind of struggled, like, this is so cool because it really breaks down the process into this really cool pyramid on the back. Well, this is what the book's all about, is this pyramid of going from entrepreneur, going from employee to entrepreneur, right? So you kind of look at this pyramid, employees, the baseline, entrepreneurs, the top, that's what you're going to get, but you need to overcome several things. And the first thing starts with yourself, and understanding yourself and who you are. So I don't want to go too much in details because Anik's obviously going to talk about it, but this is what I want to talk about. So the guy you're going to learn from today is just such a brilliant marketer. This is going to be interactive. So everyone joining us right now, feel free to drop your questions, your comments. What do you want Anik to help you with? What do you want to learn from Anik? Again, remember, Anik has an amazing story that he'll tell you about. He went from being a $1.7 million in debt to selling hundreds of millions of dollars worth of product. And honestly, it's so incredible, because what a lot of people do is they focus on the successes, right? Like, all their stories, everything they do is all about the glimmer and the glamour, and like, here's where I am. I'm making all this money. I'm doing all this stuff. And not many of us admit where we started and the mistakes we made. And the cool thing with Anik is, like, he talks about that and how he went from, going to be a doctor for all his family, to not understanding he didn't want to do that, to doing his first stuff in the affiliate marketing world, making a little bit of money, growing that to a $10 million a year company, growing it, making a lot of mistakes because he didn't have systems, tanking, and then rebuilding all of that. And so that's really cool. But more importantly, so yeah, if you have any questions about selling digital products, he owns learn.com. The guy has courses from the biggest, Damon John wrote the forward to his book. So any questions about your info product business, your course business, affiliate marketing, building a team, putting systems in place, writing copy, hiring the right executives, like literally anything you think of, post those questions here, because Anik will be able to answer them. He is just a total rock star. So he's going to hop on in any minute now, and be sure to drop those questions in here, because I want to have a list of to go with. Be sure to tag your friends, share this with your friends, because this is an interview that you don't want to miss. This is kind of the first day of a 2-week launch by Anik. He's obviously going to be talking to a lot of exciting people, a lot of cool people. This is kind of the first live he's doing, which is exciting. We got him on here. So you guys are getting him at his freshest, right? 7 days from now, 10 years from now, he might be exhausted, might be drained, might not have the energy. But today he has that energy, I'm sure, even though he's dealing with some fires. So get those questions there. What's up, Matt? So we got a lot of familiar faces on here. Got Jared, Yash, Bryant, Jimmy, Jesse, Christopher, Matt, Dot, Maurice. How's it going, everybody? So here's I think a few of you might have seen this, but I remember this showed up at my doorstep about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. I got this box, right? And so I got this box delivered. Obviously, it was in another box. You didn't just ship it like this. That'd be cool. And so I got this box, and on the top of this box, it said, go to this website, you have a surprise, and then put a code in. So this was locked when I got it. And so I went to the website, and it was a personal video from Anik with, a welcome for me, just personal message. And it had the code to this box. And then when I opened this box, it had a few things in it. So it had a copy of it, a preview copy of his book, which is cool. It also had a Kindle Fire in it, which since is not in this box anymore, it's being used. So a Kindle Fire for an audio digital version of the book. It had a personal letter and note in there. And then it also had a handout flyer for his book launch, Be an Affiliate. And for me, it's so cool. Like, so many people try to get us to promote shit. And honestly, it's not exciting, right? If you want to get people excited to market your business for you and actually passionately promote your product and service, you need to do something different, special. You need to interrupt some patterns, right? So if your way of getting affiliates is just cold calling, mass emailing, mass messaging, just asking people, yeah, you'll get some affiliates, right? You'll get some people that say, yeah, I'm going to do it. But the difference is, are those people actually going to promote it? So there's two types of affiliates, right? So anybody can get ambassadors and affiliates to sign up. That's pretty easy to get somebody to sign up. It doesn't cost them anything. It's a few minutes time. It's another thing for that person to actively promote it and become a profitable affiliate, right? That's a whole nother story. And so what you find with a lot of affiliate programs is you get a lot of signups. A lot of people say, yeah, I'll push it. And we deal with this with our course and programs. Lots of people sign up. Lots of people say they want to promote it, but they never promote it, right? A handful of our affiliates generate almost all of our sales. So so that's what we also need to think about. It's like not just getting the affiliate to sign up, but getting the affiliate excited to promote it. So this was a pattern interrupt. I've talked about this now 3 times this box on live videos on my YouTube channel, here in Facebook, before I even made a dime, because there was nothing to promote. I wasn't promoting anything. I was just talking about how cool it was. So I was building awareness of the book before the book was even launched. And Anik did this, not just with me. He did it with a lot of other much more influential, bigger people than me. And they've all done the same thing. And so that's so important. Like there are so many people now in our space, in our market, trying to get affiliates, trying to do launches, and they're all doing the same cookie cutter stuff. And what I can tell you is if you want to get the right affiliates, if you want to get people that actually promote and move courses, move units, you need to start thinking outside the box, right? And I'm holding a box while saying that. You don't need to spend a lot of money either. Like this is a great example. But honestly, if Anik didn't put the Kindle in there, I still would have talked about it. The Kindle was just an added bonus. But just the creativity of the lockbox with the personal website and the personal letter was enough for me to think like, he cares about me. He's investing in me, his time and resources because he wants me to do something for him, which is fine. It's reciprocal, right? So I just thought that was super interesting. Like how many of you guys would be excited to promote something if you got a box like this? Like if somebody sent you a cool a mysterious package at your door with a note like this and tons of goodies inside, how many of you would share that experience? How many of you go live on Facebook, post on YouTube, shoot out an email, promote something if they got something like this? And that's a question. I want to know how many of you guys would actually do that. If somebody did send you, took the time to put something that's together, it's personalized, it shows they care, it shows they want you to promote what they have. And it also tells the story, right? That's the other thing is as a affiliate, part of the challenge, right, Maurice? I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's just so powerful. So part of the challenge as an affiliate, obviously, is, and by the way, anybody just joining right now, Anik should be joining any minute. He was just running late with some technical stuff. So I just wanted to make sure we started live on time. So don't think this is just like I'm going to interview Anik here and it's just me talking the whole time. Anik will be hopping on. It should be any minute. And then we'll dive into the Q&A. But the other big thing as an affiliate, and we kind of fell into the affiliate marketing space, we didn't want to do it. We didn't choose to do it. It just became a natural thing. We grew a community, we've grown an audience, and people want us to talk to that audience, right? What I can tell you is we're very selective with what we bring to our audience. Like we get asked to promote a lot more things than we actually promote. And so at the end of the day, what it comes down to is if I'm going to go live, if I'm going to allocate time out of my day, I'm going to do something. And we got Anik here right now. So I'm going to bring him in. So let me just, Anik, if you can hear me, just nod your head. Can you hear me? Okay. I'm going to bring you in just like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I just want to wrap up right here, just this point. So and Anik is standing by. I'm going to bring him a second, but I wanted to finish this point, which is if I'm going to spend time on my day, if I'm going to allocate resources and ask my network for something, ask my community, my audience that I put a lot of time and effort into building, it's going to be something I believe in, right? So everything we talk about here, something that we genuinely believe in, that we wholeheartedly stand behind. And I can tell you for a fact that going through this book, I'm excited to get the actual full book, but going through this book, getting to chat with Anik on multiple phone calls, getting wisdom from him, like he's an incredibly passionate guy who has a big vision and big aspirations and big goals. Here's somebody that could just, kind of print money if they wanted to and sit back and do their thing, make a few $1 million a year without really making an impact in the world. but he's deciding to invest in a much bigger idea, a much grander idea. And those are the type of people that we want to be associated with. Those are the type of people we're going to bring to the community. And those are the type of people that we want to promote their offers, obviously. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in Anik. I'm going to bring him to the broadcast real quick so you actually can see him and hear him. Let me press this little button. 3, 2, 1.
Ding, 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 ding.
All right,
everybody.
What's up, man?
Not much, man. Thanks for having me. Sorry for being late. Good old launch pad never let you down.
I told everybody about that. I said, listen, there's always going to be a issue on launch day with everything, and especially the size of the launch you guys are doing. I can only imagine how crazy that is.
Hey, I'll tell you what, this is only more of an opportunity to practice what I preach in this book here. Actually, we had, so if I were to tell you what happened, I mean, we essentially, one little line of code took forever to find it. It was like an and symbol, okay, that threw the whole thing off. And when we did the predict, when we kind of went back and looked at, probably cost us about 1,100 sales. We would be at almost like 70% higher in our sales numbers right now, just because we were down for about 90 minutes. But here's a cool thing, right? As entrepreneurs, we deal with this stuff. I can either let this get me down and be all mopey about it, or I got up and I said, well, let's figure out how to fix it. So we came up with a plan of attack. We have 7 things we're gonna do. As you know, I reached out to you, so we proactively got ahead of it, handled it, and we turned something that could have been a true negative into now a positive. And we're going to talk about stuff like that. That's what makes entrepreneur, man. And I'm proud I had a chance to practice what I preached during the launch of what I'm telling people to practice. So it's all good.
Without a doubt. And what's cool, I was telling everybody before you hopped on, and it's good I was actually able to do that because I was able to kind of set a baseline and cover some stuff that just set up our conversation. And one of the things I was saying is, a lot of the influencers right now and a lot of people doing courses and trainings are very focused on very specific things, meaning like even what we do, it's like Facebook ad training and LinkedIn training and AdWords training and sales training. And what I think is refreshing and what a lot of people need more of is that step up. So instead of reading a book that's just like, this is going to teach you how to run Facebook ads or how to sell, let's talk about a book that's actually going to teach you how to think better as an entrepreneur, like overcome a lot of the roadblocks and obstacles that you might not even be aware of are in front of you because you're trying to do step 3 before you get to step 1. Like you talk a lot about, self being the first one. People wait way too long to work on themselves when they should be doing that first. And I think that's so cool. And that's why I was so excited to talk about the book and why I was excited to get the full copy of the book, because like, this is kind of a big tease for me. It was like all your stories, but it's like, am I going to dive into the pyramid? And then it was, the magical. So I'm excited to get the rest of that, but I am pumped about it because I know everybody in our community, even though a lot of our focus is direct response marketing and it's e-com, like need to take that step up. And you need to broaden your knowledge base. You need to read books. You need to listen to, audiobooks. You need to watch movies or documentaries that are about bigger picture issues, bigger picture trends. And that's why, honestly, I like reading things, even not business stuff. I like reading like World War II books. I like reading, history books, like things like that, because you pick up a lot in those books that you would never pick up reading, how to win friends and influence people. Like there's books that obviously are iconic books and they're so powerful, but they're very tactical. And it's great to have a combination of tactical and more mindset.
I have a really cool fact for you, little data point that just blew my mind. 88% of millionaires or more, so millionaires, billionaires included, 88% say that they read at least 30 minutes a day. Okay, so that one's cool, but the next fact, the next little stat is even neater. 76% of people struggling financially do not read at least 30 minutes a day. I'm sorry, but that's overwhelming data. If that doesn't tell us something about the importance of books and reading and studying and knowledge, I'm not sure what will.
It's so true, man. Like it's interesting. And it's that way across the board when it comes to resources in general, both knowledge and financial. that you find that the wealthiest individuals are the most kind of abundant when it comes to soaking in and distributing resources. And what I mean by that is, like, if you look at times of economic distress, so the Great Recession of 2008, 2009, when the majority of people, especially on the lower income side, were panicking, selling, the richest individuals were buying. They were taking their cash and resources and they were buying real estate. They were buying stocks. And I think the same thing's true with like knowledge. Like the most successful people are probably the ones that have the most reason to say, I can just stop reading. Like, I'm already successful. I don't really need to learn anymore. But ironically, they're the ones reading the most. And so I think it's a combination of those two things. It's the most successful individuals that are making millions of dollars and up are investing. They're investing in knowledge. They're investing in assets. They're just abundant in their kind of investing mindset. And it's interesting. Those stats are disturbing. And, it's sad that that's the reality of the world we live in, that many individuals on the lower income side just aren't reading, because literally one book can change, like not even one book, like one article, one, news story. There's so many little things that could change your mindset and trajectory on your future.
So Maxwell, it was one book that put me on the path of entrepreneurship. It was Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read it in high school, changed my life. Recently, what was it, a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, I was introduced to a book called Scaling Up. All right, it's for a different phase, a different season. You got to be a business that's already kind of existing and growing. Doubled the size of my company, and when we're talking, actually, I also it doubled the size of one of my companies and really grew the other one. So in total, if you were to look across my businesses, it added about $16 million a year to my revenue line. One book. Like $20 book. It's insane. It's amazing the value inside books. And what's something is funny? People look at this book, right, and they're like, it's not that many pages. Like, how hard can it be? I think books are some of the hardest things to write, even though they're usually, like, this book is free. A lot of books are what, $19, $20 or whatever, $17, $12, but they're hard to write because you got to compress a tremendous amount of knowledge into a small, easy to read flow, and I'm telling you, I have such a divine respect for books, even more so after having written one. But yes, the underlying theme here is you guys don't know what you're missing if you're not reading books on a regular basis. You just don't understand what you're missing out. It could be the very thing that just leapfrogs you into the next phase of your career.
Yeah. And here's the thing. So when you're talking about the how hard it is to write books, I don't think enough people understand, and I want you to tell people this, like, people don't make money writing books. Like, I think you have this idea that like J.K. Rowling and Stephen King, who are anomalies, but most people that write books, there's not much money to be made there. Yeah. They're usually doing it for another reason. Yeah. And I think I would love to hear your reason. That's why, again, I'm so excited to be talking with you and talking about the book and sharing with the audience, because, again, like, listen, full transparency, everyone here knows, like, I'm getting a commission for every book. I'm a marketer, right? And there's obviously always financial incentives to doing things, but I can tell you for a fact, like, making a few dollars isn't enough to motivate anybody in our network to promote something. Straight up, like, a few bucks is per book or whatever it is never enough to get me to block out hours of our time, put our team on something, and promote and use up our resource with our audience. Yeah. But what is being able to distribute the passion and the knowledge and the years of your time that went into creating something with people. Like, that is what is rewarding for me. Because I don't personally know, we're actually talking about this potentially, but like, I would love to hear from your experiences, how difficult it is to write a book, how much years you spent on this, and the outcome. Like, because the outcome, again, is not, you're not going to be, just buying a G5 off this book. That's not the way it works.
Yeah, no. All right. So I'll start with the shocker. Every time someone gets this book, because I'm giving it away for free, right? So all you have to do is pay shipping and handling. But every time the order button is hit, I lose $4.50. it actually costs me money. Now, that's because I'm choosing to give it away for free, and that's cool. For me, it's about the message. Now, let's talk about a normal author. A normal author will usually sign a deal with the publishing company, and they make about $1 to $1.50 per book. So for that book to make an instrumental financial difference in your life, you have to sell hundreds of thousands of them, if not millions. And very, 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 very few authors ever get the chance to do that. So writing a book is definitely not about becoming wealthy, but here, writing a book opens up opportunities and opens up doors. It builds relationships. It connects us. See, that's why I'm willing to lose $4.50 to give this book to you. Because when you cover the shipping, you're actually literally just covering the postage. Every other cost, from packing it, storing it, printing it, designing it, it's mine. So why do I do that? Well, because I have one faith. I have one simple understanding. When you read this book, I think you and I will connect at a deeper level. I think you're going to understand that I get what it is that you're trying to do. I've been there, done that, and I have knowledge that can help you. So hopefully in the future here, you'll buy more things from me. Okay, now as a marketer, I've come to learn that that does happen. If I do good by you, you do good by me. And based on that, I've built an entire empire, and so I'm continuing to do that. But this book, okay, is 65,000 words. It's a very easy read. Most people in our focus group read it in about 2 to 3 days. It's very story-driven, and it's written by a copywriter. So if you were to look at it, the visual flow inside of it is super easy to read. There's not clunky big paragraphs. It's not no big words, because I'm a copywriter. So I wrote this book to make it easy to read. So as simple as it sounds, this book literally took me close to 3 years. The first year of which was just pure research. I have met with billionaires, millionaires. I've literally had lunch with Warren Buffett. I have, emailed with Mark Cuban. I just recently, Damien John was here for like 4 hours. Kevin Harrington, Robert Kiyosaki, Les Brown, Bob Proctor. I could keep going. I've met billionaires and millionaires.
And Damon's writing the forward, right?
Yep, Damon John wrote the foreword to the book from the Shark Consulting. He literally said to me, now here's a person who said he hears about 1,000 pitches a month sometimes. Can you just process here's a man who knows how to pick out a good entrepreneur, because he makes a living from doing that. And he told me that this book, I had literally decoded what it is that he looks for in an entrepreneur that he invests with. So this book took me a year to do research. I went out there and I spoke to all these people. And then I've taught over 250,000 students myself. Now, here's what led to the whole journey. If you go back 3 years, I'm not joking. I'm not making this up. This isn't marketer talk. I literally couldn't sleep at night because it was driving me nuts. I had some students that I literally thought, these guys are not going to make it. And they're crushing it. They're growing, and and then I had other students who they were smart. I was like, man, I would put my money on these students. Can't make it. Months, years. They're my most devoted students. They're smart. They hustle. They work hard. They buy my programs, but they're not making it. It's driving me crazy. So I went out on this research to see what the heck is going on. I looked at my own story. So first I started with myself, because I've had the whole roller coaster, the whole 9 yards. So I went through my journey. I picked out some things. Then I went and spoke to all these entrepreneurial geniuses, right, that we all know about. And I picked apart their things. And then I spoke to my successful students and my non-successful students. And you know what? An actual very clear theme started to come out. Characteristics, behavior pattern started to pluck out. So then the challenge began to write the book. I have written this very book. This is the third time I wrote it. The first 2 times I chucked it in the garbage. Wasn't good enough. The third time I felt like I nailed it. So literally 3 years right here. May not look like a lot. It's 3 years to get this into 65,000 impactful words, where every single word in here has a meaning, has a purpose, has a definition behind it. So heart and soul and passion. So another reason people ask me stuff, Anik, why are you doing such a big product launch on a book? You must be spending, and I am. I'm spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, because this for me is not about the money. You know what? I could totally, if it was about the money, I can do 30 other things that would make me so much more money right now. But this for me is about defining who Learn is, defining who I am. This is me reaching out to a segment, a big segment of the population that's been left behind. This is me fighting back against an educational system that refuses to evolve over the last 20 to 30 years. So you can hear it in my voice. This is a mission. This is a purpose-driven mission for me. Getting this book into your hands is about so much more than money, that money becomes an insignificant afterthought for me, which is why I'm pouring hundreds of thousands into marketing it, because I know that what I give, I'll receive back in future. Right now, it's about getting the message, the training, the coaching, the guidance into the hands of those who need it.
Definitely. I think it's important too. And I want to talk about the actual escape model and a little bit to give people some overview of the pyramid and the process. Obviously not giving away everything because you got to order the book to get all that. But there's a lot of people out there who are promoting courses and trainings and mass, whatever it might be. They're basically saying, I have a secret sauce. I have something I can teach you. And I think there's always a level of skepticism when it comes to, do I, get this person's book? Do I get this person's course? Do I get this person's training? And what I look for usually is who is talking about it, right? So who is actively putting their name behind something? That means the most to me, in my opinion, because your name and your credibility is massive, especially in our world.
Yeah.
And everybody's like Kevin just sent an email this morning. So, Kevin Harrington, he's a business partner of mine and stuff, like he's promoting it. Yeah. Damon's promoting it. Yeah. These are the biggest entrepreneurs in the world, and they don't promote everything. They promote very few things because they care about their credibility. If Damon John or Kevin Harrington sent an email promoting a book that was a bunch of BS or something, that would not be a good move. So I think that's what I wanted to point out. And obviously the landing page, and you can see like everybody you've worked with and everybody that's endorsed it and all that good stuff. But that's just so powerful to me, is seeing who in our community, who are the top leaders and the things they promote and most things they don't promote. And then seeing when they push something like, because I believe in this, like this makes sense. Like Damon said, like this is a blueprint of how to go from employee, entrepreneur to, entrepreneur, and not just go to entrepreneur, because anybody can say they're an entrepreneur, but an entrepreneur is actually successfully achieving that dream and impacting people and growing a business. So yeah,
absolutely.
I saw you wanted to say something there.
No. I was just saying, I appreciate that you said that. And you're absolutely right. Damon John has only written, I think, one other forward, ever. So for me, it was like, I felt so amazed by that. Robert Kiyosaki grabbed this book and said, turn the video camera on. And he just wanted to talk about it. Bob Proctor literally called a video crew. He was so excited when he got the book and he read it. He had to make a video. Les Brown got it. He called me right away. To hear that, to hear that after 3 years of heart and soul put into a book, you got to imagine it just lit me up. And then today, as we released this book, just the raving feedback and just the, people are just loving it. Because here's the thing. So when you get this book, right, for those of you who are international, it could take 2 to 3 weeks to reach you. I can't do anything about that. It's a postal system. And so what we did is we give you free online access to this book. Okay, we give you absolutely free online access to the book right away, instantly. So you don't have to wait for the book to reach your house. You can start reading it right now. So people are already finishing halfway through the book by now. We're getting feedback already. We've been literally open for hours, and I'm loving every second of it, because what's in this book, I'll tell you this also, there is no secret sauce in this book. Okay, it's not secret. It's just put together. Finally, someone kind of stitched it all together. So I'll say this. You can have all the ingredients to make pizza in your kitchen right now.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you know how to make pizza, right? You have the ingredients, but you need to put them together. And that was the part that took me the longest time to discover. It was the recipe. It wasn't the ingredients. I think most people would guess what the ingredients are, but you got to learn how to put them together. And that was where I think, that's where the heart and soul. And I mean, and again, you're talking about shipping and handling of $7.97 to save yourself 3 years of going through what I went through. I think it's a worthwhile investment. It's a joke in my opinion. So,
I totally agree. I think we've all, maybe even a little further along. So you made some bigger dollar mistakes than I have, but I know for a fact, I mean, we made some mistakes that have cost tens of thousands of dollars, and to get a kind of blueprint for a few bucks to avoid even one of those mistakes is one of the best investments you can make. I'm going to add some bonuses. Obviously, I'm going to do some cool things that I'll announce. We're going to give away some unicorn swag, free course, 30-minute strategy session, some few things that I'm going to put in the comments announcing. But I would love for, and Brian, I'll post a link again. It's pinned in the comments if you want to grab it. I know a few people have already hopped on it. Just like what eSCAPE means, what the overall process is, and really what is like when I get this book and I sit down and I read it in one sitting, because I'm probably going to do that if I'm getting it, because it's I read the first half in one sitting. Like, what am I walking away with? What are those key elements that I'm walking away with?
Absolutely. Okay, so let's look at the logo, because the logo of the book alone, I think, says a lot. So when you go from the little E, you swing on over to the big E. That is going from employee to entrepreneur. Okay, that's what we want to basically cover in this book. You have 4 stages. The subtitle of the book right here says the 4 stages of becoming a successful entrepreneur. So you have S, C, A, and P. S stands for self. This is stage 1. The other thing I want to show you right here is we have what we call the eSCAPE triangle. If you could see that. So we literally teach you how to build yourself through the triangle. Now, the triangle is very simple, okay? You don't build a home by starting at the 3rd floor. You got to pour the concrete, build the foundation first. So that's what we do in this triangle. The foundation of the triangle is what we're all taught to become by our society and by our system. We're taught to be employees. So that's the base. Now, what happens is stage 1 is self. This is where the personal development industry comes from. It's pretty big. So as you can see, the triangle gets smaller and smaller. The stage is less and less people make it through the stage. So stage 1 is self. Let's talk about that for a bit, okay? So the self is very interesting, because if you look at, so people love to ask me this question, Anik, can anyone be an entrepreneur? And my answer to them is actually yes. Okay, that's different than most people. We're actually all born entrepreneurs. I think we're actually coded to be entrepreneurs. And over the years, it's beaten out of us. So the real question isn't, can we be entrepreneurs? The real question is, should we be entrepreneurs? Not everybody should be an entrepreneur. Not everyone's in the right season of their life. Not everyone is willing to give it what it needs or even wants it that bad. But let's talk about why it is that we're all coded as entrepreneurs. Have you ever watched a toddler, a 2-year-old, trying to learn, 1-year-old or 1.5-year-old, 2-year-old, trying to learn to walk, trying to learn to talk, trying to learn to ride a bicycle? I mean, these kids will be relentless. You tell them, don't touch that. First thing they want to do is touch it. They want to experience for themselves. They're all about, what is it that I need? I need to walk. I'm going to keep going until I figure out how to walk. Then it isn't until we start to learn the power of the word no, and also the power of praise, that things begin to change. So I'll give you an example with my 6-year-old nephew. When he was 3 years old, I asked him a question. I said, what do you want to be when you grow up? This kid looks at me with absolute resolve in his eyes, and he says, I want to be War Machine. I'm like, okay, I have 2 problems with that. First and foremost, I'm an Iron Man fan, and that sucks. Why would you want to be the sidekick to Iron Man?
That's true.
You know, be Iron Man. Okay, well, he didn't like that. Number 2, I said, let me test him. Let me try something, right? I'm writing the book. Let me use my own nephew as a guinea pig. I said, you know, Ronak, I'm sorry to tell you this. You can't be War Machine. It's not possible, because it's not real. It's a Marvel character. It's a cartoon. Oh, man, he got upset. He stomped his feet. He said, I'm going to be War Machine. I couldn't tell, you know, at 3, I can't tell that kid what to do and not to do. He's going to figure it out on his own. But you know what? By the time he turns 6, now he's going to school. He'll get good grades. He comes home, and he knows as soon as he gets good grades, his parents will buy him toys. His grandparents will call him and shower him with praise and be so proud of him. He'll get to call his uncle, and we'll give a high five on FaceTime. So he's always wanting to get good grades, but I highly doubt that he understands or processes the value of a great education, right? He's doing it because he wants to please us. And now he'll start playing sports, and he'll do it to please his coach. Then he'll go to school to please his teachers and please his parents. He'll go to high school. He'll start building a rap sheet, get good GPA, get good SAT scores, volunteer a lot, be a part of a lot of associations. Why? Because some person who he'll never meet in his life, sitting at some faraway university, is going to read a 1-pager on this kid and determine if he's worth their university. From there, life is still not over. He gets into his favorite university. He goes to college. Now he has to start building up a rap sheet so that he can be qualified to get a great job. Still not over. He gets a great job, and now he has to get there. And his boss, he has to impress his boss every day. So here's the problem. Our self is coded to please others. Our self is coded to do what we're told, and that's exactly how we live our lives. We do what we're told. We wait for the next instructions. We have to evolve out of that. We don't just have to recode. We got to decode first. We have to literally change. And this is why entrepreneurs are failing left and right. Best example I can give you is this. Just because you know how to play baseball and you're a brilliant MVP baseball player, you can't wake up one morning and say, you know what, man, I'm such a good athlete. I think I'm going to play basketball now. Like, you will suck.
Unless you're Michael Jordan. Remember that? Unless you're Michael Jordan. Remember
Unless you're Michael Jordan.
Professional basketball, professional baseball after basketball.
Yes, unless you're Michael Jordan. It's funny because when I was giving this example prior, I thought about him too. I said, well, he kind of defies my example, but Michael Jordan defies a lot of things, so we're just going to let that one go. But the thing is, we try to do that, right? Because we succeed as employees, because we're out there doing well, we think we're hardworking, we're hustling. We think, bam, move right that over to being an entrepreneur. Can't do that, guys. We gotta decode and recode. Okay, so let's say we make it through the self and we get these 5 characteristics that I go through. By the way, each of these stages, I go through 5 characteristics very, very specifically. So let's move to C. Okay, catapult. Now, what's catapult? So I get this question all the time. And Maxwell, I'm sure you get it too, man. Ready? You're gonna laugh when I say it. Anik, I gotta make $1 million. What do I do to make $1 million? And it's like, so I'll look at them and I say, have you made 100? Nope. I want to make $100. Are you crazy? I want to make $1 million. And I'm like, have you made 100? Because what I want you to do is first make 100, and then I want you to make 1,000. You know how you make 1,000? I want you to do what you did to make 100 10 times. Then I want you to make 10,000. You know how you make 10,000? Do what you did to make 1,000 10 times. Then I want you to make 100,000. You know how you do that? Do what you did to make 10,000 10 times, and then we get to talk about how to make $1 million. Just do what you did to make 100,000 10 times. They hate that answer. They walk away with just frowny face, like, oh, this is bullshit. It's probably the best advice they'll ever hear. It's the best advice I ever heard, and I hated it too when I first heard it. The thing, though, is this. We're so used to being spoon-fed what we need to do next. We go to work, and our employer says, do this, do that, do this, come home, and we're just told what to do, so we sit around and we wait. But when we have these big goals and dreams, we unfortunately take something like The Secret too far. So we sit here and think, oh, I can just think about my big goals, and it'll happen, and that's not the case. You got to be able to break things down, create momentum. Laws of physics, okay? Newton's laws of physics clearly states an object in motion will stay and remain in motion. It will need far less energy. Got a car that's at park? Try to push that car alone. You're going to need 4 people to get it moving. But once it's moving, 1 person can keep that car moving. So you got to build that momentum. It's huge. It's not taught to us in our lives because others build momentum for us. And now you have to do it yourself. All right, so third, authority. A. Max, I'm going to ask you a question real quick. You tell me the answer. In school, like when you're in elementary school, like how many kids per class on average?
Like 15, 20?
Yeah.
I forget. Yeah.
When I was in school, it was like 30 to 40 tops. I was just doing an interview with someone else who's in Malaysia, and he said about 40, 45 kids. So in that 20 to 40 range is common. So let's just say.
I went to a private school, so we'll put it at that. Yeah, I didn't go to like a normal public school, so I'm a little spoiled with the class size.
Well, Max is very privileged, so that's awesome. Max,
yeah, exactly. I was very lucky when I was growing up.
As was I, actually. I was very fortunate. My parents are awesome. But let's just say 30 for average, okay? So 30 for average. Now, how many kids get to be class leader at one time? One. 29 other children, just because they didn't raise their hands first, didn't get an opportunity to understand, practice, and become a leader, to understand authority. Look, as an entrepreneur, I'm not asking you to be an inspirational speaker that can talk to a stadium of 40,000 people and create a revolution. I'm asking you to be able to inspire and inflict confidence in your customers, in your team members, in your vendors. You've got to be able to communicate to them with authority, but we miss out on the opportunities to do this in our systems. It's not too late. You absolutely still can. Now, I'll tell you this. You don't need to be some kind of big-time fancy boss. But what you do need to learn in this authority section is how to inspire enough to get your dream to come true. It's absolutely a must for successful entrepreneurship. Last but not least, we look at the toughest one. I call this the final frontier because on this, it's the last stage before you hit that entrepreneurial success. It's P for people. Why? Because it involves emotions. It involves family. It involves friends. Now, we look at the personal development industry, and the personal development industry says one common rule about people. Remove the negative people from your life. Just kick them out. Remove negativity. Okay, funny, because when I was starting my first business from college, my father was negative. And then when I was building this beautiful facility here, this 26,000 square foot entrepreneurship home for entrepreneurs, my mom was super negative. She was worried. She said, you're spending $3.5 million. You don't even know how you're going to make it back. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It just needs to be done. Okay, when my now wife, when she was my girlfriend, when I went $1.7 million in debt and I was down and out and nearly dead, and I told her I'm going to go back in and start my business again, she was negative. Now, where would I be today in my life if I kicked out my father, my mother, and my wife? They are literally the pillars upon which I stand. Yep. See, you got to understand people. So P is not about what you do with negative people. P is how you relate to people. We are taught to behave one way. And if you ever look around and look at your friends and look at those who are around you, you'll see that they behave one way with everybody. A great entrepreneur behaves differently with everybody they're around. They can adapt. They're literally like chameleons. They know. So when I'm going to talk to Max, and I'm going to put my hat on backwards. And I'm going to hang out with Max. I'm going to wear a cool shirt that's entrepreneurial, good colors, bright colors. That's what a smart entrepreneur will do. We will learn to talk the talk of the person we're talking to so we can connect with them. All right, it's not manipulation. It's just a connection. Look, here's what I do with negative people. My mom gets negative when she hears about the huge expenses and the huge bills I pay at the center. How about I not share that with my mom, that particular part of my life? How about I share the things that we really get? What's that?
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, be a good idea, right? And my wife, when I'm doing a big risky business, she gets a little nervous because, see, they can't understand what you're trying to do. So their negativity is just them trying to protect you. So when I go into that conversation with my wife, I go in and I explain to her my backup plans, my safety net, all of that. And all of a sudden she said, oh, that's fine. So you've got to learn to be able to read people and to be able to communicate with people. So P is about building the right environment, but it's really structured around communication. So we go over 5 characteristics that'll help you build into a much better communicator so that you can truly build that valuable asset of people in your life who support you and propel you forward. And you don't have to remove all the people that everyone else has to remove. You just learn how to turn those relationships, take control over them, and turn them positive. So right there, just in those, that's 4 stages. We go through 5 characteristics in each stage that you can master in this book, okay? And then we quiz you on it. We literally give you a quiz. We give you an assessment, and it will tell you who you are, how you are, and how likely you are to succeed as an entrepreneur. That quiz will actually give you a percentage E-score, but it'll also score you on each of these stages so you can tell exactly which stage you need to work on next to raise your overall E-score. So this book, literally for me, it's not a book. It's an interactive guide to improving your chances of succeeding as an entrepreneur. And may I remind you, it's free if you just cover shipping. Again, it's absolutely free. Everything I talked about in far greater detail right throughout this book.
That's huge, man. I think the scoring aspect of it's great because I know we've done, there's a lot of different tests and assessments out there. I think like the DISC personality test, for example, is doing these assessments, especially like DISC, is so powerful, especially for teams and stuff. It's like to learn more about yourself because you'll learn things. You look when you're thinking about yourself. It's hard to look at yourself unbiased, right? So you fudge the the things maybe you're weak at. You make excuses for why you're good at them, and the things that you're good at maybe you don't isolate why you're good at them. Like there's so many things it's hard to take a step above yourself. And like look down, right? Look like out of body experience. So working on these assessments, especially like yours, I'm sure, is going to give you a lot of great insight into the areas you need to improve. Yeah. At the end of the day, like the best entrepreneurs, the most successful people in any profession, whether it's, I don't care if you're a writer, professional football player, if you're a teacher, whatever it might be, you're always looking at ways you can improve. You're always looking at ways I can learn. How can I improve these faults, these flaws, these weaknesses, because nobody's perfect. And it's hard to do that unless you know what they are. So I think that assessment's great because you're going to find out what are those weaknesses and where do I really need to spend time doing work instead of just assuming what it is and wasting time on the wrong thing.
No, you're absolutely right, man. And that's what we did. That's why it took us so many years to build this. That assessment it's like 75 questions. It'll take you anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes to finish. It's pretty meaty and it's pretty
It should. Any good assessment that's going to be valuable should take time. Like a DISC one takes a good amount of time. It needs to. Otherwise, you're not going to get really valuable insight at all.
Exactly. So yeah, man, I mean, awesome. Look, like I told you, we didn't need to do all of that to sell a book. Okay. I've sold programs for thousands of dollars with far less effort and work than what went into this book. It's about the message. It's about what it takes. It's about making it for real. I looked up and down. I actually asked Damon. I said, Damon, is there a book like this that just gets into the core characteristics and behaviors of an entrepreneur, that really dissects an entrepreneur's way of thinking? And he looked at me and he said, no. He's like, I'm so shocked. Until now, no one's actually done this. So for me, just to be able to say I was the first person to do this, I just feel like I'm serving such a large community that needs it. That's what this is about. That's why it's free. That's why it's just going to cost you shipping. That's it. And really, with me, what I'm hoping is that you love the book and that we connect, and that there's other programs in the future that I offer you that you love and that you engage with. That's it. That's what it is. People ask, what's the catch? There is no catch. That's it.
I love it, man. So I wanted to, I want to be respectful of your time. I know you probably got a ton of stuff going on right now. This is the day one of your launch. I'm super happy you're able to hop on the first day before you get burnt out, because I'm sure next week you're going to be exhausted after everything.
Man, I love this stuff. To be honest with you, I don't know if I will be. If I talked about this every day, it would be great. Just again, get the message out. Let as many people hear it as possible. Maybe you never know whose life changes just with something you say. So it's an honor, and thank you for having me on the first day.
Of course. So I just wanted to give 1 minute. If anybody had any questions, I know I posted before. More than happy. Anybody has any questions for Anik right now about the book, just questions in general, feel free to post them here. I'm going to talk about the bonuses for a second to give some time. If not, I'm sure we can get some, if you ask questions, you're watching the replay, and I'm sure I can pass them along to him, and maybe we can get a video response or just a written response or get him back on here. I'm sure we can figure out something. Maurice said, man, I need this book today. I didn't get the audiobook. Is it still possible for me to get the audiobook?
To get the audiobook, you'd have to message our support team. They'll help you get the link to, you basically have to get eSCAPE Accelerator, and they'll help you get it. So just message our support team. It's support@learn.com, LURN, support@LURN.com. So let them know, give them your email information that you bought from, and they'll message you back and let you know how to get it.
Awesome. Thanks, Maurice. Venkat said, how did you keep motivated? Sometimes it's like we don't have the same energy every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, listen, guys, you didn't see what I looked like right before this interview. All right. We go through ups and downs. You guys just see me smiling all the time. That doesn't mean I'm smiling all the time. You can't stay motivated all the time. Okay. That's not how life works. You got to learn to accept the emotion of the moment. Don't avoid it. Don't ignore it. Don't cover it up. Don't shove it under the carpet. Accept it. It's really funny. I learned this in a show called Lost. Max, have you ever seen a show called Lost?
Like the big famous
the big famous show.
Yeah.
First season, there's a scene. Can you believe there was a pivotal, life-changing moment I saw in that show that changed how I think. There's a surgeon. He's a spinal surgeon, okay? And so the girl, I forgot her name, but she's like talking to him about some things are melting now. There's black spooky clouds running around everywhere, and he's calm as a cucumber. And she asked him, how do you stay so calm? He tells a story. He said, I was a resident for years. I used to do surgery under the supervision of other surgeons, and it was fine. My very first surgery I had to do on my own when I became a doctor, my very first spinal surgery, I did something, I cut the person wrong, and all their nerves sprang out onto the surgical table. As far as I knew, I had just paralyzed this person. He goes, I was stricken with fear. I was overtaken with just panic. And he said, you know what? Instead of trying to avoid that feeling, what I told myself was, okay, doctor, go ahead and have 10 seconds. Allow this feeling to overtake you, accept it, acknowledge it, but 10 seconds, count down. On second 11, you take charge, you eliminate, you felt it, you let it be, and then you get back in action. So when I'm feeling down, I accept it. I separate myself from where I am. I put myself in a safe environment. I allow those emotions to play their course. And then I always ask myself, what's the silver lining? So what happened today could have upset me, but I asked myself, what's the silver lining? Did someone on my team learn a very valuable lesson that could potentially mean millions of dollars for me in the future of mistakes I don't have to see again? Yes, they did. Not just them, but everyone else around them saw what had happened. And so I decided this was an investment for the future. I also asked myself, long term, how is this going to really impact me? And you know what, guys? Sometimes we make a mountain out of a mole, right? Something goes wrong, one little thing goes wrong, and all of a sudden you ask yourself, you know what? When I'm 75 or 80 or 90 or 95 and I'm on my deathbed, am I going to remember this moment? Is it that big? And you realize it isn't. So I got over it and I hustled back into so if you can go into a moment of silver lining when you don't feel motivated, first of all, allow yourself. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you need a moment off. It's okay. Okay. I don't believe in a constant hustle. It's not true. So accept the feeling, honor the feeling, see the feeling, and then just work through it. And know this, nobody, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, all these people included, nobody's always motivated. They're just not.
No, it's true. And I'll say, so then Mike Peters, I'll do the last question there. But I'll add to that. I think like people see when you meet with people, when you see people, it's always in a social environment. So like most people that know me online, they only see me when I go live, or they see me when I speak on a stage or a mastermind. And those are small moments of a grand life, right? And so it's not that hard to, get some energy for an hour or two and be very, energetic and personal. Doesn't mean that's what you're like all the time. Like they're gonna have times and days where you just don't feel it. Like, and there's a lot of days like that where you just wake up and you're just like, I'm not super motivated today to do stuff. Like I don't know where to start. It's so much work. And the reality, like you said, is you can't change that. There's nothing you can do to avoid that scenario, that situation. You just need to understand that that's going to happen. And it's a matter of just working through it. And as long as you don't let it spill over and start becoming a habit and infecting other things, I think that's where it gets slippery, is where you let, a moment of, you're just tired, exhausted, stressed, impact other things. That's where it gets slippery, where you start to take it out on other people. You start to take it out on your spouse or your business partners and stuff. And that's where I think people make mistakes, is they let what's happening inside impact us.
This, right? We talked about this. What did I say? It's mostly about communication. So you know what happened today when I was upset? I was in my office. I was taking a moment. My wife walked in. I said to her, we have a very clear communication pattern. I said, I just need a few minutes. I'm worked up right now. This isn't the right time. And she didn't take that personally. She didn't take that badly. She gave me a hug. She said, okay, no problem. And she left and allowed me that space and time. Guys, you got to learn to communicate better. See, but I know my wife and I have established that relationship. Now, I can't do that with other people in my life. They would take it personally, but she doesn't. So you've got to learn to communicate. You've got to learn to communicate individualistically with the people in your life. I'm telling you, it'll turn around anything in your life. It can turn it around like this. It's amazing. It's like a superpower. It really is.
Totally agree. Okay, last question from Mike Peters. How's it going, Mike? He said, where do you want to be in 5 years?
I love that question, Mike. Mike, I've got a very specific goal. So Learn Nation, which is our virtual platform, which you actually get a free membership to if you pay for the shipping of this book. The online access of this book is inside the platform, Learn Nation, which just crossed 45,000 users in it. In 5 years, it'll have 10 million users all over the world, 10 million different people that want to be entrepreneurs or are entrepreneurs that learn. We'll be serving, coaching, training, and building a community around. That is my very specific goal when it comes to professional. When it comes to my nonprofit side, I want to have 50 schools minimum. We are at 9 at the moment. I want to have 50 schools that serve children and communities that otherwise would not get an education. I also want to work through an organization in Africa that we do work with. We've now helped 2,000 people come out of extreme poverty with our work with them. We want that number to be closer to 100,000 in the next 5 years. So a lot of professional win, impact goals, a lot of nonprofit goals. On the personal side, probably have 1 or 2 kids by then. Be living in the same house, driving the same car, married to the same amazing woman. I love my life. I mean, personally, I think everything is about as amazing as it's ever going to be. So I'm a happy, blessed person. And so that's where I want to be in 5 years.
Love it, man. Those are some great goals, both professionally and personally and philanthropic. So on that note, I'm going to let you get back to it. I know you got a lot of stuff to work on today. I'm so appreciative. I know even with all the chaos, it would have been super easy for you to just say, hey man, can we just cancel this? And I totally understood, but the fact that we're able to deal with that and then, hop on and spend an hour with us, even though I'm sure in the back of your mind right now, you're getting, thinking and you're like, I got to deal with this, and you're probably getting texts and stuff. So I really appreciate that. Everyone's got to grab a copy. The link's in the comments below. When Anik hops off, I'll talk about some of the bonuses that we're doing. I don't want to bore him with that, so I'll talk about that once he hops off. But man, thank you so much.
You got it. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure talking to your amazing group of entrepreneurs, Max. You're doing an amazing job. Everybody, I hope you're super grateful for Max and his team. What they do takes a lot of effort, energy, and work, and they serve, and it's just brilliant. Thank you for having me. It was an honor.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks.
Have a great launch.
All right. Talk to you later. Thanks, man.
Alrighty. Awesome. On that note, Matt, so I'm sorry I didn't get, I believe it is in India that he's doing it. I think it's India or Africa. I'll get the exact places, but the cool thing about Anik does, and you can actually go back and watch, we did in our Unicorn IQ Hub, we did an expert live interview with Anik like 3 months ago. I interviewed him and he talks a lot about those programs. So if you want to go back and watch that, it's a great video towards the end because the schools they set up become self-funding. The way they set it up is the goal is that they become financially independent and generate a profit, which I think is freaking brilliant because so many people just give money. And I think that's great, right? Like I donate, me and Larissa are very big into philanthropy. My parents were big into philanthropy. So I donate a good amount of money. And pretty much anytime people ask for money, I give it to them. Even at the, when I point a sale, check out at CVS, pretty much anytime they ask for $5, whatever, I give. But the problem with just giving is that it becomes dependent on continued donations, right? You're not actually solving the problem. You're just putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound, basically, in my opinion. What Anik's doing with his schools is he's setting up in such a way that you actually, the parents in the city, they pay to go there, but it's a very low amount, but he set it up in such a way, and he explains it way better than I do, that it starts generating a profit after like 5 years or 3 years, I forget. And so this model is very scalable. He can have hundreds of schools, and they actually only require an initial investment, obviously, to build the school and all that stuff, but there's ROI positive there. And then it begins to grow without the need of external donations. Obviously, donations are always going to help, but it doesn't require them to continue serving. And I think that's incredible. And I'm looking now for ways like Larissa and I, from our philanthropic standpoint, like what can we do to follow that model? Like how can we help achieve some of our goals that we're passionate about regarding, providing life and entrepreneurial and business skills to, middle and high schoolers, underprivileged people? Like how can we do that in a way that's sustainable and not 100% dependent on outside donations? So yeah, that's cool. Matt says cool. I'll hit him up. I was thinking he only had like 5, but it was about a year ago. Yeah, and he's been growing that really rapidly. So definitely hit him up on that. I'm sure he'd love to share after the launch. But anyway, so now that Anik's gone, again, just to reiterate, like the links, it's the pinned comment. It's just bit.ly/unicorn escape is the link. It's free. You pay for shipping, but again, it's not like one of those free plus shipping where the shipping's like $9.95 or $14.95, where you're basically just paying for the book. The shipping's only $4.95, which is basically, Anik said, just covering the postage. He's losing money every book he gives away. And it's an incredible book. Damon John writes the forward for it, so that it's incredible. Got a lot of high-level people behind the book, supporting the book. Kevin supporting the book. So you have 2 sharks behind the book, basically. And I learned a lot from it. And that's I don't learn much sometimes from a lot of books, but this is something I took away a lot of great, useful tips, especially working on myself. So grab your copy of the book. Again, it's free, just $4.95 for the shipping. And we're going to do some giveaways, some bonuses on the back end of this. So at the end of the launch, it's 2 weeks from today is the period you can get your free book. At the end of that, we're going to give away some unicorn swag. So we're going to give away 5 unicorn tees. We're going to give away a unicorn hoodie. We're going to give away a free Facebook Ad IQ course. We're also going to do a free 30-minute strategy call. So one person's going to win a 30-minute strategy call with myself. So we're going to give away a ton of cool stuff. I might even add more to that as we go. But at a minimum, those are some cool prizes that we're going to stack on top of that. So all you got to do is claim your book. You don't have to get the upsells. You don't have to get anything to be eligible. Just get your free copy of the book, and you'll be eligible to get unicorn swag, courses, strategy sessions, all that good stuff, and maybe even some better bonuses that we'll announce towards the end of the launch. So super excited about this. I see a lot of you guys already got the book, which is great. Already grabbed your copy, which is super awesome to see. Again, you get the digital version. You get access to Learn Nation, the learn.com, which has 25 courses on it now from huge heavy hitters. So super excited. I'm really, really pumped to promote it. Really pumped to tell you guys about this. I'm really pumped to see every one of you with a copy of this book. Tell me about what you learned from it. I want to learn what your assessment was, what your score was, where you can improve, and how we can grow together. If there's any questions, comments, concerns, anything you got that you want to share with me, feel free to comment right now, and I'll be sure to answer it. If you're watching the replay and you have questions for Anik, just let them, drop them in the comments. Make sure you tag me, and I'll be sure to pass it along to Anik. And I'm sure he'll be able to get a response to you, either a written response, a video response. We'll do our best to get that and potentially get him back on here towards the end of this 2-week launch to do another follow-up. That's what I definitely want to do. But long story short, did you guys like this? Was this a good, you get value out of this? Anytime I talk to Anik, I love it because I always learn stuff. But I want to share everyone here learned some stuff, had some fun. What did you guys think? Just hit that like button and, say loved it in the comments if you had a good experience today on the live. I want to know, I want to get some feedback. It's helpful for me to know about what lives, what content, what length is resonating with everybody, so we can make sure going forward that we're only bringing the right content, the right mediums, the right topics to the group, to the tribe. Awesome, Maurice. Good to hear that you liked it. So great. On that note, guys, hope everybody has an awesome remainder of the week. Like I said before, if there's anything that I can do, Anna can do to help out, be sure to just let us know in the comments, and make sure you grab your copy of eSCAPE today and get in on those bonuses that we're giving away. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.